Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Soul. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really happy to have you put some time in for your weekly food for thought to really work on becoming our best and favorite selves and live our best life because, well, it is the only life that we're going to get. Today, what I'd like to talk about is redefining failure. I overheard something at lunch once, and it really made me think. It was this man who was talking about his sister. She's married, she lives abroad with her husband, they both work a 9 to 5, and they live what is really called a simple life. But while he was talking about her, he kind of grunted, very unimpressed, and said something along the lines of, oh God, no, she's a failure. She never did anything with her life. I mean, look at their life. And I just sat there thinking, really? That? The way he described her, it sounded peaceful, stable, happy. But somewhere along the lines, we've been conditioned to think that if someone isn't chasing promotions, building empires, or really constantly reinventing themselves, then somehow they must be failing. The word failure has become so misused in our vocabulary. We call things a failure just because they don't look like success from the outside. But the real definition of failure is simply not trying something. Oftentimes, I've had people come to me say they're afraid of starting a business and then watch it close a year later. But that's not failure, that's actually courage. It's not releasing a podcast that doesn't get a million plays, that's self-expression. It's not ending a relationship that no longer serves you. That is also self-respect. It's not deciding to live quietly, peacefully in your own rhythm. That is not failure. That is potentially even wisdom. We keep chasing more, forgetting that sometimes enough is the goal, instead of being the greedy human beings that we always are. I've seen people call their work a failure because it didn't go viral. Their art did not reach the millions that they wanted to, or they call themselves a failure because they didn't get the job that they wanted. But trying, taking that step even when the outcome isn't what you hoped for, that's actually success in its rawest form. It's putting yourself out there in whatever way or form, however minimally. Because unless you try, then any attempt, even the messy ones, will not be able to teach you what they're meant to teach you. In life, you really can either succeed or learn or get redirected. If you're applying for a job and you keep applying and you're not getting in, then maybe it's redirection. And I witnessed that with a friend of mine who at university needed to get a certain GPA in order to declare his major of engineering. But he tried for 3 years and his grades were never up to par. And eventually he joined another major and ended up taking that as a career path. That was redirection. There's really no real failure as long as you're moving forward with intention. And bear in mind, sometimes moving forward looks like taking a step back as well. And maybe that's what we all need to remember, that not everything needs to be a breakthrough moment. Sometimes success is quiet, it's contentment, it's peace, it's trying again tomorrow. So here's your reminder for the week. If you've tried, you've already won. Failure isn't actually the end. It is the absence of a beginning. With that, I remind you that every time we think about this, every time you approach something where you fear or feel like there might be failure, we practice this step by step, day by day. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you next week on Soul.